Hey Steelers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to our Pittsburgh Steelers news and rumor video here on a Tuesday as training camp is days away. It is fast approaching, and my pitch to you before we start our video is you need to be a subscriber. Now, I'm telling you, there are a lot of different Steeler outlets out there on Twitter and on blogs and on sometimes ESPN, but we give you guys non-stop training camp news and rumors. I mean, we're going to have so much coverage here, and it's all Steeler related, and it's done by all the hosts here at Chat Sports. And so let's try to get to 16,000 subscribers before the start of the season. Just hit 15K, 15,000 of you guys in this young channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. For all the latest training camp news and rumors and videos like the one we're going to talk about today, be sure to go down below and subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Alright, so as the title of this video states, let's get into 5 training camp stars, potential training camp stars is the better title of this video. I want to get into 5 people who you're going to most likely hear their name a lot during training camp. Doesn't mean they're going to be stars in the actual start of the season, although that's the hope, but during training camp there's always standouts, right? There's always people who, it's like, oh, I've been hearing a lot about this player. Oh, that player made some really good plays. I'm going to try and predict who those are. Some are rookies, some are not. We're going to dive right into number 1 here today. First, Mateo Durant. Now, Mateo Durant's a name, if you're a big-time Steeler fan, big-time Steeler nerd, which is probably people that watch these channels because you like all of the deep dives we do into the roster, you've heard about Durant. But if you don't know who he is, he's an undrafted free agent running back. Now, they obviously have a really good running back, as we'll see in a second, but Durant enters as one of those, or one of many undrafted free agent running backs who come off of great seasons, but, you know, running back is just such a devalued position, you don't really get drafted unless you're Najee Harris, for instance, in the first round. So Durant's a guy that rushed for 1,200 yards at Duke, 9 touchdowns in 2021, runs a 4.38 40, had 10-plus 100-yard games during his time at Duke. I mean, the guy's a monster. He's quick, he still has some power, very elusive, and very much could be a feature back in the National Football League if he progresses to that level. I'm not saying it's going to be year 1, but, you know, eventually. Now, the reason why I think Durant's going to get a lot of love is because when you look at the Steeler running back depth chart, behind Najee Harris, it's not anything special. Are you a McFarland fan, right? Are you a Snell fan? What are their ceilings, right? What is the realistic numbers they could give you? The beauty of Durant is he's an unknown. And running backs tend to do very well in training camp because there's obviously not a ton of tackling, and so they kind of bounce off players, and so they look like they get longer runs than they actually would in the National Football League. But the search for Najee Harris's backup is going to be a big-time storyline in training camp, and I think you're going to hear Durant's name a lot. Now, does he end up becoming the number 2 running back? I don't know, right? You gotta get past Snell and McFarland. But if he plays well, especially in those preseason games, you could see and hear a lot from him, potentially as a guy who comes as an undrafted free agent and eventually becomes gets a roster spot and as a backup behind Najee Harris. Okay, add a great pin comment down below. Who will be a breakout star at Steelers training camp? Give me a prediction. Who will be a breakout star at Steelers training camp? Let me know down below. Answer the pin comment right now. All right, next breakout star is one that for sure you're going to hear a ton of during training camp, and I think in a really good way, and that is the wide receiver, George Pickens. I almost think the one kid that most people are going to be focused on is Pickens because of how exciting and how big of a potential he has as a wide receiver. I'm expecting him to be very impressive. I think he's going to make a lot of great catches. You're going to see some, crazy catches over defenders on the Steeler Twitter accounts and Steeler beat writers who are at training camp. Like, he is going to be a name that you're going to hear an absolute ton of. Now, again, rookie wide receivers, they don't normally ball out their rookie year, but it does happen. I mean, it's not never. It's just a smaller percentage than some, let's say rookie running backs or rookie tackles in the National Football League who are a little bit more set up for success in year 1. But I think Pickens, after all the injuries at Georgia and after all of the, people talking about how he's never going to be a great NFL player because he never really played much, what is he at Georgia? I think he's going to ball out in training camp and really turn some heads and be a name that you as a Steeler fan you're going to hear a lot of him once we go ahead and get into training camp, which, again, is happening very, very soon. Now, if you guys are pumped to see Pickens in the black and gold, pumped to see him actually out there in 11-on-11s with pads on, which is coming in the next couple of weeks, give this video a thumbs up. Really, if you guys are just pumped for training camp in general, right? Not just George Pickens, not just Calvin Austin, not just Kenny Pickett, but all of them, give this video a thumbs up right now if you guys are pumped for that. All right, another training camp star, I think Mason Cole, and I think he's going to be an actual season star. I think he's going to be great and a massive addition to the Steeler offensive line. But I think you're going to hear a lot about how Cole is a mature voice inside the offensive line room and is a leader on the football field. And your center kind of needs to be. A lot of the great centers are kind of the leaders of that offensive line. A lot of tackles get a lot of love, but centers kind of make the whole offensive line go because they're calling out protections and touch the football every single snap. I think Cole was a massive pickup this offseason, and again, we're talking about names you're going to hear, stars, if you will, at training camp. I think that Cole is for sure going to go ahead and be one of those. Is the offensive line going to be top 5 in the National Football League this coming season? Probably not. They still have some mediocre guys on there, but I think Cole was a great pickup and a great addition to what was one of the worst offensive lines in the entire National Football League. Now, it could be Cole, it could be somebody else. Who is the best offensive lineman on the Steelers roster? Let me know what you guys think down below right now in the comment section. Best offensive lineman on the Steelers roster. I think by the end of the year, you're going to be talking a lot about Mason Cole. And again, does it mean he's the best one? I don't know, but I think he has a very good chance to be the best lineman this year. Who is the best one right now? Let me know down below. All right, next player. You can hear a lot of Ahkello Witherspoon. Again, not a rookie. We're trying to mix these things up. Not all rookies. Witherspoon, obviously, one of the newer faces on the Pittsburgh Steelers at the cornerback spot. He technically is in a battle for one of the cornerback slots. Not guaranteed when you got Sutton and Levi Wallace, but, wink, wink. He's going to be a starter on the defensive side of the football. I think he's poised for his best season as a pro, and I think we're going to start to see kind of glimpses of that in training camp. You're going to love the matchup. Him versus Pickens. Him versus Claypool. Him versus Deontay Johnson. I think that he is going to be very much featured, very much in a lot of the hype and the media videos and the blog reports that you're going to see on your Twitter feed over the next couple of days, weeks, and months. But I think in the end, you're going to hear a lot about, Witherspoon picks off Kenny Pickett. Witherspoon picks off Mitchell Trubisky. Witherspoon, great pass breakup on George Pickens. I think he is going to be a name that you just will not be able to hear enough about. I think that that's going to be huge for a Pittsburgh Steelers organization that is desperately looking for some stability at cornerback. They've had some, Joe Hayden in the past, Sutton, they've been fine, but you're entering a season where you're playing a lot of very good wide receivers. Amari Cooper, you're playing, obviously, Jamar Chase twice, and he's upset at the whole Madden ratings, which is a whole different thing, which is just stupid, by the way. But overall, I think a big name you're going to hear for sure is going to be Ahkello Witherspoon. I think he potentially could be a breakout training camp star and has a very, very good chance of being in the news a lot, hence why we're talking about him today. All right, I'm going to give you a bold prediction as my number 5 and maybe a hot take, and I'm going to say Devin Bush. I don't know if it's because I want Devin Bush to have a good training camp and I want him to finally be the linebacker he was drafted to be, or if I actually believe it. Now, I don't know if I actually believe it, because Miles Jack was signed for a reason. If they were confident in Devin Bush, you would never have spent the money on Miles Jack, so, maybe I'm wrong on this. But I hope that one of the linebackers that gets a lot of buzz is Devin Bush. I hope he's finally locked in. I don't know if it's not locked in enough. I don't know if it's, size. I don't know if it's speed. I don't know if it's just mental. I don't know what it is and why he's not been the linebacker he was drafted to be. But I'm hoping that this training camp is the time you start to hear good things about Devin Bush and not bad things about Devin Bush. And while we all believe Miles Jack is going to obviously go ahead and get most of the limelight, I'm holding out hope. Maybe wrongfully so. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I really hope Devin Bush turns out to be decent this year because it is long overdue. Okay, bonus here. I didn't include him. This is not number 6 on my list. Just want to mention his name before we end. I did the 5 that I really think can be brought up a lot in training camp. I didn't put Kenny Pickett on the list because you're going to hear a lot of Kenny Pickett stories and videos, and you see videos and hear stuff. I mean, Pickett is obviously going to be underneath the microscope in training camp. Now, he's not going to be a breakout star. I very rarely do rookie quarterbacks shred defenses in training camp. Normally, they're throwing picks. Normally, they're struggling. And normally, you're going to read a lot of reports about, Pickett wasn't good today, 4 for 8 on a drive, 2 interceptions and 2 overthrows. And I think that that's something that you just need to be ready for. And so I'm not saying he's going to stink at training camp, but is he going to be a breakout star and all the stories are going to say, Kenny Pickett is the greatest rookie quarterback I've ever seen at training camp? You're not going to hear that from Mike Tomlin, right? You're going to hear he's progressing, he's learning, he's doing what he's supposed to do, he's learning from his mistakes. Those are the things that you want to hear. And so we don't include him on this list, but we still mention him on the list because I don't want you to freak out if the first couple of weeks of training camp, Kenny Pickett is struggling. What you need to freak out about is if Mitch Trubisky is struggling, because that means Kenny Pickett might have to start, and that's a whole different mess we don't want, right? I don't want him to start week 1. I think he needs time to develop, hence why I'm rooting for Trubisky to go ahead and hopefully win the job and hopefully be good enough to keep the job. But if not, then eventually Pickett's got to play. But I just want to emphasize that don't expect crazy great news coming out of Steeler camp regarding Pickett early on. Now, I'll end on this. Will Pickett be a camp star? You think that I'm wrong? You think he's going to be a breakout camp star? If you think I'm wrong, type Y down below for yes. Think I'm right? Type N down below for no. Will Pickett be a camp star? Let me hear from you guys right now. Okay, I end on another reminding you to subscribe, I should say, just because, again, the training camp stuff is going to be a lot, and you're going to get little glimpses on ESPN, like, let's check in on Steeler camp, here's Kenny Pickett throwing a football, but are they really diving into the news? Are they really reading what, the reporters are saying on the ground? It's what we do here at Chat Sports, and so we're going to give you guys nonstop Steeler coverage during training camp, all training camp long, and into the preseason and beyond. So go down below and subscribe for some really great content. You guys will not be disappointed. For our Pittsburgh Steelers news and video today, I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off to the rest of your day.